Welcome, everybody, to Generation Dan, the only show with names more unfortunate than insert whatever you think is funniest here, because there is nothing funnier than our guest, Nina Dicker. Welcome back, everybody.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much. The bar, high.
I mean, like, see, this is the funny thing is I've had people introduce me as Dino, and I'm like, Dino's a thing, Dino is a name, and they're like, oh, and then I like, which I'm pales in comparison to your experience, Nina, but at the same time, it is hilarious. You're like, no, Dick is a body part, Dicker is a last name. It's or a job title, whatever. That's fine.
I'm not even sure what that job title entails, but I'm Atlas, I'm your millennial. That guy is Dino, who is a person, not a thing. The best kind of noun. And yeah, I'm a millennial. He's Gen X.
Yeah.
How's it going, Nina?
And I'm just here to celebrate International Women's History Month.
Hell yes. I don't know. The last guest we had was on Ama Marfo. This time we have Nina Dicker. We're on a roll, Dino. We just got to make sure. Oh, the rest of the guest list, we're screwed.
I'm fine with that. I can reach out to women. There are women who aren't terrified of me. It's fine. It's good. Yeah. It's
and like I heard only a few of them got restraining orders. So
I mean, listen. The worst part is that it's just it's like, but I was just hanging out. I didn't do anything. They're like, yeah, but you have, and I'm like, I've not. It's the same excuse where like now that I've lost so much weight, people are like, they can't accuse me of having eaten their baby. It's they won't necessarily believe it. It's important to have an alibi, people. It's an important thing. It's one of those,
And never leave a trail.
Victoria says, hi, Nina.
Hey.
I mean, we did have a great time. We went to a Korean Mexican place in LA with Nina, and we got to eat, and it was very enjoyable. It was very good.
I was very jealous because while you guys were doing that, I was at my wedding doing wedding planning things.
Which sucks. Like, let's be honest. Yeah. Because that's work. Like, it's actually, you're just like, by the time you get married, you're like, I just want to go home. Can we just give me my stuff and the checks, and I'm just gonna walk away. You guys enjoy your dinner. I want to go do something else. It's very
because on paper you're thinking like, oh, this is the greatest crossover episode ever, right? This is the like a thing I've been waiting for my entire life. I love sitcoms, and then everybody's there, and you go, hi, thanks for coming. Move to the next table. Hi, thanks for coming. Move to the next table. Hi, thanks for coming. You don't get to like spend the time with them, so you're right.
It's a job.
Every partner I've ever had, if we're like, in the kitchen and we're like running out of plates or we're low on silverware, I'm like, what if we just got married? Like, what if we just got married?
Refill the coffers. Yeah. Listen, we get new stuff. We get a little bit of a cash influx, some venture capital. These are all good things. And there's a good chance that if you have the right friends, someone will be like, hey, why don't you have it at my country house? And you're like, hey, now I don't even have to spend money. It's good.
Exactly.
It works.
100%.
Plus,
what's this live about?
What's this live about? Fraud.
Fraud. Living in crazy times, which is
also fraud.
Plus, if you invite my Aunt Patty to the wedding, you get a comically large dog bed that is now the like. If you have to sleep on the couch, you go here instead of the actual couch because
that's an advantage. That's an advantage. Like someone who does that is like that person cares about me. Yeah, no, that's fine.
That's like for a horse.
Kind of is like my I'm just slightly too big, so I gotta like either push my feet in a little bit or have them hang over the side. Perfect size for Katie. Katie is 5'1". She's like, this is great. I'm in. I'm in.
I remember the library in my grade school had one of those giant couches where it was like, and they were like super strict, and they were like no shoes allowed, but it was probably about 20 by 20, had these big comfy things, and you had to wait your turn to read on it and stuff. Like it was a whole thing. And now I realize that the librarians were just on a power trip and probably horrible people, which, librarians, what are you going to do? They hoard knowledge. You can't trust someone like that. It's unsavory. Jim Eaton says, he says the best part about getting married is the wedding gifts. I mean, you don't want to say that though, because your wife doesn't get happy when you say stuff like that. Just an FYI to everyone. And then, although all my friends bought me fondue pots, so we have like 12 fondue pots. I mean, I feel like that was organized to be like, we're going to make them host all the fondue we could possibly
Yeah,
can.
that seems like an invitation to invite way too much people. I got cheese. I got chocolate. What do you want?
I mean, it works.
Jim, you materialistic.
Jim is like, yeah, I am. I mean, listen. Well, okay, but there's okay. As someone who's been married twice, and both weddings were pretty large. So my first wedding had 420 people, which
Oh my god, you have that many friends?
you know what the
Congratulations.
hilarious part was? My ex-wife only invited 100, so 320 were ours, and
Wow.
I knew everybody, and it was a wild thing. But then
Holy cow.
when I got married to Victoria, like the cool thing was that like her dad was like, hey, so in our culture you're supposed to pay for the wedding. I'm like, I'm down. My culture says you have to buy me my first house, so what would you like to do? And he went like this. I go, or here's a solution, because that happened to my dad for my oldest brother. When he got married, he paid for everything, and it was such a nightmare because the in-laws were like, well, we want this and we want this. Everything got overspent. It was ridiculous. But after that, my dad's like, listen, we have connections to places. We can happily use it. So we're going to get a lower price. But as well, you pay for your guests. I'll pay for my guests. We'll have a great old time. We'll collaborate. It'll be fine. And that was how it went. So I said, hey, or you could pay for your guests. I'll pay for my guests. We'll have a great time. And we can start our life together. And he was like, yeah, it seems a lot better. I'm like, I mean, listen, calm down.
I'm
That's
Dino, and I got someone to go halvesies on my wedding.
I'm
Follow me
sorry.
for more wedding tips.
It just makes more sense. Also, too, hilarious.
Feminism.
Exactly. I'm an ally. Thank you very much. I don't look the part, but I am.
What is this debacle? It's Generation Dan.
Dude,
like
what is
and
this?
subscribe and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
somebody asked if we support the LGBTQ community. I just want to put that I am the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
I
married the LGBTQ community.
yeah, just so all the other LGBTQs don't get upset. I'm just the B part. That's who I am. I support the other ones, and I love kissing them on the mouth. That's also fun.
We have had
just
lots
every woman,
of
though.
LGBT on this show, and is queer supposed to be like all encompassing? I never quite got that.
Yeah, I don't really. I think it's either queer or questioning.
Questioning. Okay, like
I don't know.
Hey, I feel like everyone.
Like,
if anyone is in the same room as Henry Cavill, they become questioning. That's only that's
no,
fair.
100%. I agree with that.
You see him and you're like, for that, yeah, sure. I'm not gonna do it for the ugly guy, but
everyone has an exception. They're like, well, for that guy.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not a monster. I just, guy at the top. When a marriage ends, what do you feel as a man? I mean, I don't wish it on anyone. It is a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. And like that's something that I like. Any relationship is difficult to end, whether it's a friendship, a marriage, a romantic relationship, or even an employment relationship. All those things are hard. And you know what? A marriage is, I find it like significantly worse, not only from my own experience, but it was more so that like, listen, we agreed to contractually bind ourselves for the rest of our lives, and then you decided not to. That's a weird thing to be like, whatever. Like I know people who have been married like 5 times, and I'm like, hey man, do you know what you're doing? I don't think you understand what this is for. Like, this isn't just I'm in love. Oh, you can be in love. That's fine. Just go hang out. That's nobody. It's
when
the
my
same
marriage
thing. Like,
ended, I was upset because I only got fondue pots. My ex got the house and the dog.
I mean, that's a.
Sorry, Jim. That is a rough time.
Okay, Jim. Why have none of us ever been invited to a fondue party outside? Then, where's your what's going on, Jim?
Because he's been on this show before, so
I know. Never offered us fondue. Never even showed off his fondue powers. I mean, it's a little bit.
I want to say I love fondue. It's a family tradition of mine that we bring in the new year. On New Year's Day, we eat fondue like all day, just all kinds of fondue.
Yeah, and then you either shit your brains out or don't shit for a week. It's a great, great tradition.
Those are
it's usually
solutions to problems. That's fine. Yeah, those go both ways.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. Yeah, like fondue was definitely like I got to do it very rarely as a kid. Why am I saying do it like it's an activity? I get to eat it very rarely as a kid. And like I I think I've done it once as an adult, and like it was really fun. Getting to dip bread and broccoli in a vat of bubbling cheese. It's the best.
Yes. Oh, it's so nice.
Nina's last name is interesting
do.
given the circumstances.
It's true.
Oh, so it is. Yeah, but that's
Given any circumstances, really. I feel like all I can do is comedy or be a corn star. And I've already done corn. So comedy it is.
I mean, that's fair. Listen, and Johnny, Johnny, you're a funny guy because you're like, I'm anti-LGBT. Why would you listen? Nobody's making you do it, bro. You can just
an idiot.
Well, no, it's not. No. We don't have to be mean about this. We just have to say, hey, man, you're hating people for them trying to find themselves.
You're hating people who are like
ridiculous.
Really hot. That's like weird.
I mean, 50-50 on that one. I've seen some weirdos, but
80-20. That's what I have to say.
That's fair. The cheese fondue helps the diarrhea. I mean, or stops it. One of the two. I thought we were all sharing, and we are. Natiri, hello. This is the thing is we've been talking about this the last week on other shows as well, is the whole idea that like forgiveness isn't for other people. I forgive you so I can move on with my existence, so I don't have to deal with this shit, because it just spirals in your brain and you're like, yeah, no, I don't want to have to deal with that. It's the same thing with a marriage. Like the best way to end that shit is with a guillotine. Just poof, we're done. That's it. It's over. I'm out. No, I didn't mean that your spouse would go in the guillotine. That's not what I meant. I meant like the contract. You'd put the contract in the headspace and cut it in half, and that would be done. But
yeah, it was like I've never seen you be so like violent toward your ex before. Usually you're pretty like whatever.
I was like, white man kills his entire family.
I mean, there are circumstances, but anyways,
I just think it's so silly. Like men who are like, "There's no way out of this contract. I have to kill everyone." I'm like, it's 2025. We could just divorce.
That's 100%.
That's why no fault divorce was invented, because you know what the alternative was before that? Poisoning your
husband.
Yeah.
Hey, the women who poison their husbands, smart women. That's fine. Yeah. Hey, if anything, listen, and this is why I try and explain to people that I'm like, look, if you're no longer in love, say so, separate, move on with your lives. Mm-hmm. Is it horrible? Yes, but that's the best of a bad situation. When you do horrible things, you gotta get a result.
I just remembered, this is not going to be super helpful because I can't remember the name of the case, but I'm like a big true crime fan, and there was this one case where I think the body cam footage went viral of this man's wife met with a fake hitman who was a cop and told him like how she wanted this guy to die. And then they pretended that he died. They like took a picture of him because they were like, hey dude, you got to do this with us or else you're gonna die. And then they took a picture, sent it to her, and she was like, thumbs up. And so then they arrested her. And that's all I knew of the story. I was like, wife tries to kill husband, yada, yada. But I learned only recently, the true crime community learned recently, that was actually his second wife, who he'd gotten by cheating on his first wife. This second wife, originally a call girl, and he cheated on his first wife with this call girl. And after 2 weeks, he divorced his wife and started dating her, and they got married. And a few months later, she was like, I actually hate this guy. Can we kill him? And so now everyone looks at the case and they're like, damn, she should have gotten away with it. Like,
yeah.
This guy sucks.
Like without that like outlook on stuff, we don't have Chicago as a musical. So was it really all that bad that we had it, at least for a time, in the first place? Because it's a really fucking good musical.
Yeah.
I don't think that is a fair comparison, but hey,
no, it's not.
You're a huge fan of musicals, which I'm still perplexed by, but still, that's fine. It's
listen, Chicago is a national treasure. You shut your mouth.
It's not. It's not. It's weird. It's weird. I'm just letting you know.
Why it's actually gay, and you're being homophobic. Do you know?
I'm Greek. If anything, you guys, Chicago is homophobic for talking bad about Greek people. There you go. It's okay. We were first. I get grandfathered in. I can say
There's
whatever.
No Greek people in Chicago. What's up with that?
Just, I mean, Well, technically, there are tons of Greek people everywhere. We run the restaurants. The food is because of us. Just an FYI. That's just factual.
I
Okay.
was gonna say also, he's in Toronto. Chicago's like right there. Like,
I mean, it's not, but yeah, it's fine.
okay, but I mean, like, same time zone at least.
Nope, that's not true either.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea where anything in Canada is.
That's
Toronto's like close-ish to New York. Ish.
I do gain a ridiculous amount of joy hearing American people talk geography because none of you have any idea what the best part is it's not just like you guys have geography.
It's
like,
not the city.
Only ours.
your actual country has so much geography. Don't even know that. You're just like, where's Tennessee? Is it that way? I don't know.
No.
Maybe it's
Look,
just
it's okay, even though it's backward. Like you're next across Lake Ontario is the New York State. Like,
yes, it's Rochester. I can see Rochester across
and Buffalo.
Yeah,
Oh,
Buffalo.
you can't see Rochester, but like Buffalo is near Niagara.
Well, Buffalo is about 2.5 hours that way, just straight ahead. This way, I'm looking at Buffalo right now, but Rochester is just across the water that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. And a good friend of mine from elementary school lives in Buffalo. Shout out to Langston if you listen to this podcast.
No problem, Johnny.
He's married and has a child and is doing better in life than me. So I hope you're doing well.
You're catching up though. You're catching up. It's fine. Yeah. You already have a bed for a child beside you. It could be a large child. Like that'll last until they're adolescent.
A child in the dog bed. Yeah, totally.
DC's appropriate. That's ridiculous. Play Medusa for the poison. I mean, listen. Any
people, she just turned them
other
stone, I thought.
That deserved listen. That their only option was I need to poison my spouse or else my life is over. You're like, go ahead. Like they're probably not going to be missed because you got to make sure that you're not doing it like on whimsy. It's got to be principled, right?
That reminds me. I've been having some because life is what's the name of this? Life is crazy. Life is screwed up.
Crazy.
It sucks.
100, yeah. Oh yeah.
I've been having some issues with like safety and people being crazy and weird. And oh yeah, I don't know if I can legally talk about it right now. But I also I don't know if you guys know of Teresa Lowe, the comedian.
Yes.
Oh
my God.
Yeah. So Teresa's
we've been trying to get her on the show, Teresa.
Yeah, she's fantastic, very funny. You guys should look her up. She's hilarious. She's also been having some trouble with the justice system where she has video, photo, medical evidence of this guy who assaulted her on the street in broad daylight, hit her over the head with a metal water bottle, gave her a concussion. The courts decided not to prosecute. Police were like, "Oh, we can't arrest him," and like literally assault. And so I've
on camera too.
Yeah,
with witnesses.
Literally witnesses. Like she has everything, and I've been so angry. And I was at an open mic recently talking about this, and I was like, I know people say violence is never the answer, but sometimes I think violence might be the answer. And then I went on this whole rant. And I was like, am I advocating for violence? I might be. I don't know.
Well, look, the way I perceive it is this. Violence.
You know this story. I've told it to you.
Yes. So violence is never the answer, but at times it's 100% the solution. So you're going, it's not about, hey, that we get to a point where there's no moving forward. So I'm going to move through you. That would be violence, right? So
it's easy for you to say.
You're
7 feet tall.
I also touche. That is fair. Hi, Jeroen, and thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. And everyone else who's watching, make sure you subscribe to everything. Otherwise, you may miss important things that are coming.
It's true.
To me, to Generation Dan, and check out maybe get tickets to Nina Dicker's new special, which we will talk about at the end of the episode. And I'm surprised you didn't call the special "I Hardly Know Her." It's right there.
That's the next one, Atlas. Don't ruin it.
That's you draw everyone in with the first one, and then the second one it's like, this is the jab, and then the hook's like, oh, you didn't see this one, and right? That's how it goes. People are sick. I mean, that is true. Like I feel like the problem isn't that people are sick. It's that people aren't getting the help that they need.
Yeah,
I think
people are
that's
monetizing off of people being sick.
also very true. Also very
Yeah.
true. I wonder if the lady had any other husbands that mysterious died. I mean,
I wonder.
hey, once you get over the hump of the first one, it's a quick solution, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very
Well, I will
simple.
say, if she already had other husbands that mysteriously died, I feel like she'd be able to get away with this one. But she went to a fake hitman.
Yeah, which like this is the problem is that so I have this mixed feeling about that whole thing where police can lie to you and there's nothing you can do about it. And you go,
yeah,
I understand, like in that scenario, hey, they were able to catch the bad guy. This is good. But at the same time, I feel like that guy kind of was a piece of shit, and she probably should have taken matters into her. Like
Maybe if the hitman asked more questions about this guy's personality.
I mean, like public service. It would have been a public service.
I love the idea of people being like, "Oh, cops can't lie to you." I'm like, they're not a bridge troll. Like, just like if you answer me these riddles 3, then you will be bereft of possible deniability. Like, no, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
But at the same time, no one should be allowed to do whatever they want either, right? Like, there's you can't. It's ultimate, freedom corrupts in that scenario, right?
The people who are like, oh, people should be able to do whatever they want all the time, those are called libertarians. And me being somebody named Atlas, my opinion on libertarians.
Well, that's another thing here, Rob, just in case we're not, these two are both in California. No. We're not going to be talking about that. But if you want, on Monday, we have a show called Motherfucking Mondays, which we will. And also Life of Giants, which we also probably will. So by all means, you can just link to here, Dean Legend Marvel, and you'll see all the Trump content you want, because we make a lot of hilarious comparisons.
Yes, and sometimes I want to bash Marco over the head with a heavy object, but he's a nice person. So
but you know how to slap fight, and he knows how to murder. So once again, you're like, know your limits. That's fine.
Yes.
I thought Chicago
Fools
was
who run their mouths off wind up dead. Yeah,
I mean that's fine. Where's the ground? And then point to the sky. All right, so the ground and the sky. That's come on, don't be ridiculous. RJ's like, don't talk about Trump. I mean, listen, guys, you got to figure it out. Okay,
talk amongst yourselves.
I mean, that's also
figure it out.
Flick Lister. That is a great name.
I remember that in school, where like the teacher would be like, "I forgot to make copies. Talk amongst yourselves." And then and then as a kid, I was like, "How are they that unprepared?" And now I'm a teacher, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm that unprepared." I get it.
Okay, hold on. Jim said so. The guy who assaulted her though has been pretty much shunned by the entire. That's a good thing. I
haven't heard from him.
He wasn't necessarily ingrained in the comedy community. Like, he wasn't someone who everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that guy, nice."
No, yeah, exactly. Because everybody knew him and knew, like, he's a very annoying person, and it was very like kind of like every conversation was transactional for him. Where it was like,
I don't like those kind of people.
It's like, can I get something from you? Then I don't care. If like you have nothing to offer me, I'm leaving. And then actually, fun fact: this shirt that I'm wearing was from a comedy festival, a World Series of Comedy, and I got set in Minneapolis. So I go to the Mall of America. I get to bum around the Mall of America all day. Wow. And I'm walking around Mall of America. I'm like, this is great. While I'm there, I'm like, I should get a present for Katie. And as I'm about thinking of like, where do I go to get a present for Katie? He finds me in the Mall of America somehow, which is like, how?
No.
And then
sketchy. Yeah. I
kept trying to be like, I need to go find a present for Katie. I need to I want to be.
Oh my God.
And then he just wasn't getting the hint. And
it's like a scary movie.
A little bit.
Oh my God.
Where it was a little like, appears from behind you, nothing personal kid thing where he's like, hey, didn't know you were here. And I was like, yeah. And then in my head, I'm going, fuck. Like, I go halfway across the country and he finds me.
Yeah, that's a little odd. That's aggressive.
Speaking of comedy festivals, I'm actually doing my first out-of-state comedy festival in the beginning of April.
Congrats. Where at?
The Riot Comedy Fest in Houston.
Nice.
I'm very excited. If any of the commenters or listeners are in Houston, I'll be there from April 3rd to the 6th.
Nice.
Say hi.
Okay, listen. Not from far away, not up close. Just
Oh,
enough
not up
away.
close. Just
Yeah,
yell
not up close.
hi from across the street. And I'll be like,
Dicker! Just scream Dicker into the street, and she'll be like, "That one's for me."
oh
And she'll
yeah,
just walk on. Yeah.
clearly that's for me.
I feel like, see, I've used that experience like that. I'm like, listen, if you're in a mall in Canada and someone goes, Dino, it's me. There's me. There's like one other one, and they're
Same with me.
not
Yeah.
real. Yeah. So I'm like, and especially like because my real name is Constantine. So I'm like, if someone yells Constantine, we're fighting, and it's definitely me. So that's the problem is
Yeah,
if
I've never heard somebody be like Atlas, and they're like, "This book of maps needs my attention immediately." No, it's me. It's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't hit that note.
That's, I mean,
No, you
it's
did
one of those
pretty good.
things, right? I feel like there's an advantage. Like the problem is when I go to Greece, someone yells Dino and 5 guys turn around and go, what? And they're like, that one. And you're like, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
See, it's funny
but,
It's like Tony
in one
and
of my English classes, I have 3 kids whose names end in the syllables Aiden.
ooh, that's LA.
They're not all named Aiden, but their names end in Aiden.
like Kate.
And I was like, this is really starting to piss me off because like I can't put you all in 3 corners and then like because they're not bad kids, they do their work and stuff, and I didn't want to punish them just because they have similar sounding names. So I'm like, we gotta get like a nickname or something. Like this is, I feel bad about like
just
3 heads turning.
start pronouncing their names wrong. So like Braydan and then Caden and like
Yeah.
just change them a little bit so it's annoying as hell, and then they'll
Maybe.
figure it out themselves.
But again, I don't want to punish them. It's not their fault. They do their work and stuff. And
Give them like cool nicknames. Be like, what
Yeah.
kind of cool nickname do you want?
well, one of them looks like Michael Sarah, so I've been calling him Sarah.
Sarah.
Nice. He's on it. And
Hello
from
to
Wisconsin, 1, 2, 3. Congrats, Bill Reed. It's nice
Aw.
to see you.
All right,
My
Fred is
wife-
using us out here. Who just farted?
My wife's
farted? I heard him.
co-teacher.
I would actually like
from
to
Wisconsin.
say I actually don't fart anywhere except inside my 2020 Subaru Impreza. So
That's
couldn't
fair.
have been me.
There you go.
Congrats. I
And
crop
I-
dust my kids constantly, and they blame each other. It's great.
It's the best way. The only problem is
they've never caught on.
if that secret gets out, though, then you're the farting teacher. That's a problem.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that teacher.
No,
I had a
'cause-
teacher, Mr. Gorgip, who had stank breath. And he would always come up close and be like, I used to have a goat. And you're like, did you eat it? Because it smells that way.
Oh no.
Was it coffee breath? What was it exactly?
I'll be honest
It's
with
coffee
you.
breath I get.
No, it was traumatic enough that I have tried to figure out what that smell was. It was
Death.
like a little bit. The weird part is we know that he drank like because he was a shop teacher and his
Mm.
name was
Yeah,
Mr.
shop
Gorgeous.
teachers are wasted. Yeah.
Well, he had very much Krusty the Clown hair, like it kind of stuck out a lot. And he was a shop teacher, which you're like, a shop teacher's barely a job. That's like a drama teacher with violence.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you're like, it's not.
Shop teacher with power tool or a drama
Yeah,
teacher with power tools. Yeah.
So, but he would get up real close and he'd be like, "Let me tell you a story," and you're like, "I can see through time." You're like, "What the fuck just happened?" Right? Like, so, yeah,
I can just imagine him eating the worst concoction of shit in the morning, being like, "These kids are
Pickled
gonna
eggs.
forget it."
Yeah.
yeah.
He
Like,
knew.
he drank and ate sauerkraut, but like bad sauerkraut. I feel like that was the combination. It was aggressive. Like,
God.
yeah,
Shop teachers
and,
are always battling clinical depression. Yeah, I bet all those power tools. It must be.
I mean,
hard.
like,
But I love the idea of him intentionally making his breath bad and going, "I want to tell you a story about a woman I know. When it comes to love, are you reciting "Whole Lot of Rosie" by AC/DC? Yes, I am. You got to hear the whole thing.
and you would try and like back away, and he'd grab you and pull you closer. Not women, not girls, just dudes in shop. Like the thing is, in shop class, like we didn't have like it wasn't a dedicated grade, so it was like we had from like grade 10 up to grade 12 students doing the shop class. And
Yeah.
I had a brother who was 2 years older than me, so I'm in grade 10, he's in grade 12, and so like all of his friends are there, all my friends are there, and it's like it becomes one
With power
giant dissing
tools.
contest with power
Yeah.
tools. One guy chopped his finger off. It was wild. But then like I started a fire. there's a whole big story. It's very entertaining because teachers were like thankful because they got a half day off, and I'm like, boom, you're welcome. I'll burn it down next time. It's fine. Yeah, it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't on purpose. It was all just yeah.
You're welcome.
In my high school, they taught you typically had to take health class your freshman year.
Yes.
But I was going to an art school part-time, not to brag. And so I couldn't fit health in until my senior year. And so it's me, a senior in class with all these freshmen. I'm just sitting there like, I could freaking teach this class. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know what's going on right now.
Reminiscing about his first Predator. I mean, a little bit. Where are we from? So I'm from Toronto, Canada. Atlas is born and bred in LA. That's why he's a weirdo. Nina is transplanted to LA. So
It's true. From Connecticut.
I mean, yeah. So yeah. Jesus, Nick.
Reminiscing about
Calm
his first
down.
Predator.
Yeah. Well, this is the weird thing is, so I'm the youngest of 5 kids, right? So I grew up having to fight dirty, and then puberty happened, and then I became bigger than most of mankind. So I'm like, it's very weird when I've had people kind of step up, and I'm like, oh, okay, and then I pick them up and put them on a shelf. Go, here, you sit there on your timeout, and it's not gonna.
I remember the first time I could like roughly fight on an even keel with my sister, and it was when I was 8. She was 11, and we were on vacation to Washington, D.C., and she pissed me off, and I decked her in front of the Lincoln Memorial. He was a wrestler, so I think he would have been proud.
Technically, it was gender neutral. You were like, no, we're equals. It's fine.
Well, because she wouldn't stop like tickling me because I was ticklish, and I was like, "Fuck this!" And then just the funniest part was I remember exactly. I was thinking, I'm like, beating her up, and I'm thinking, are they going to stop me? Like,
this is a weird. I've never heard. So I'm here beating up my sister in front of the Lincoln Memorial. And I'm like, why aren't people stopping? If nobody's stopping me, must be okay. It's one of those like, hey, no one has come back to stop me with time travel. Must be okay to do it. And you're like, no, it really wasn't.
No, because it was like, I didn't want to like, hurt her. I just wanted her to stop tickling me. So I didn't go for very long. But I was thinking like, blows landing are they gonna the adults? They're not gonna stop me.
Tickling could be a form of torture. I feel like.
I think it is like it's.
Yeah.
I love this. It's all theater, guys. Dino's actually 5'2". Atlas has anger management problems. Just 100% accurate. I'm actually a small Asian man. That's actually true.
I don't think I have. I have the opposite, where I have trouble expressing my anger. John Wilkes Booth would have been proud of you. Jesus, Cole. I missed last minute.
That was Jim Eaton.
Oh God.
Oh
God.
Oh, sorry. I mean, they have like, if I'm not looking closely at their icons, they look similar to each other.
I mean, that's fair.
Like at a glance. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Wilkes Booth would have been proud. Thanks, Jim.
It's listen, that's the madness that I feel that we're all experiencing these days. You're like, this because every time you open something, you're like, oh, let's see what's going on. Nope, I don't want to know. Just put that away. I'm
Atlas
good.
Atlas started his serial killing spree over being tickled. I can't wait for the 60 Minutes episode.
Okay.
Listen, have y'all ever been tickled for an extended period of time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not so I don't want to say this because people are gonna be like, really, and they feel like it's a challenge, but I'm not super ticklish. Yeah. And the only place that I'm really ticklish is like the bottom of my feet, and I will kick you in the face. Like that's like I'm not. If you start to tickle my feet, you're gonna get kicked. And I have size 14 monster feet. Yeah.
Size 11 over here. Hey.
Size 12. Katie.
Big old flipper feet, Nina Dicker. There you go.
That's true.
Katie is not ticklish at all. I have tried everywhere. Nothing. Which is even more disconcerting because ticklishness is learned. And she has 2 older brothers. I'm like, what were they doing to you? Like, no tickling whatsoever? Nothing? Yeah. And then she's like, I don't know. They just didn't tickle me. I'm like, all right.
No.
Yeah.
That means it went too far one time. And she had to like shut that down. She's like, no, I'm officially no longer ticklish. She is like, let's be honest. Your wife might be a murderer. She's figured out how to stop her ticklish response. Like there's a good chance, right? There's like someone who learned not to sleep. You're like, that's not safe. That's not.
She has told me she has a plan to kill me. and how to get away with it, which is pretty genius, I'll admit. And
I mean, if she told you, she can't really go through with it now.
I'm epileptic, and the plan is smother me with a pillow and just be like, oh, he flipped over and he's too heavy, I couldn't flip him, and he's suffocated. And it's like, that's genius. That it would work, definitely.
I love how you're like, good plan, sweetie. Yeah, whatever.
Well, because if I go, that's a dumb plan, then she's gonna kill me out of spite. Like, I need to toe the line here a little bit.
Like, okay, damn, Nina, you know what they say about size 11 feet? Yeah, she's got.
Yeah, why do you think my last?
Probably a clown.
I think I got my last name.
It's like the forearm of a giant.
Yeah. At least minimum.
I mean, listen.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me flip it out onto the table.
Hilariously, there was a comic that I would every once in a while we would do shows together, and he told a story about his wife or his girlfriend at the time, who they're no longer together, which big surprise. How they went to a sex store, and his girlfriend picked out the biggest dildo he's ever seen in his life, and he saw me. He's like, "Hey, Dino, can you lift up your sleeve and just hold up your arm?" And I was like, "Yeah, just." Like, yeah, no problem, like that. And he's like, yeah, that was the thing. And I'm like, oh God, that is aggressive, man. He's like, I know, and I'm a thin. He was a thin, short, white guy. And he's like, bro, he's like, immediately, she's like, how about this? And you're like, can you maybe just buy something small that vibrates instead of like,
lifting weights,
the pelvis breaker 5000? Like, let's calm down.
Say, I wonder what sort of wacky name they have for it. Rocket Dog 8000. Like.
Oh, I feel like I see that stuff and it just scares me. It just emanates fear.
like this is the thing is I've been amazed at what it is that like people got weird during the pandemic, which is fine. As soon as you're don't have to be ostracized by other people's sight, people are like, I can do whatever I want. I don't need to shower. No one's going to look at me. It's great. But at the same time, there's things that people were like, well, I started during the pandemic, and you know what? I'm into it now. So that's how it's going to be. And you're kind of like, I think it's great. It's good for people to find themselves. At the same time, you're like, hey, maybe leave some of it private. You don't have to share with everybody, And there's a lot of that where I'm looking going, that can't be healthy. That's not a good thing. And you're just like, yeah, this is what I do. And you're like, I want to hear the story, but also don't want to hear the story because it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's like I'm morbidly curious, but I'm also concerned about your well-being as a friend.
Like a little bit. You're like, you should see somebody about that. Maybe verbally, maybe diagnostically, like in a machine. I don't know, but like I have questions. It's very unique, right? And that's like, but it also comes down to some people, like you were saying, that guy who's very transactional in how he talks with you, and you're like, that's a learned thing, right? So it's like, are they just like a weirdo, or you're like, have they been conditioned? And you're just like, I don't
or
know
if he's a narcissist, or like, it could be any number of things. I'm no therapist, so I can't be like, he's a narcissist. Fuck if I know. But the point is that like, it's not a very attractive quality, both in a like relationship matter or just like being a friend to somebody. Like it's.
I also feel like the word narcissist gets tossed around so much lately. I'm just like, they might not be a narcissist. They might just be an idiot. Like, have we thought about it?
Well, I find it hilarious that the three people who are broadcasting to the entire universe for their own self-gratification are the ones like, that guy might be a narcissist. And you're like,
good point. Yeah.
I mean, that's telling in and of itself, because I'm like, listen, I only play a narcissist on the internet. That's it's the rest of the time I'm just your average run-of-the-mill murder-faced guy. That's just
because I was talking to my therapist about this because my sister seems to think that my dad is a narcissist, which maybe
he was a doctor, a real doctor that saved lives. He has every right to be a nurse. He's like, I save people's lives. I'm important.
But he was saying that like, if you like the qualities that go into making a narcissist to like talking about an adult, it's infuriating, it's annoying, it's you have to deal with this person. If you all those things were like talked about a child, you would feel awful for that kid, because like the things that make a narcissist, which is usually not enough attention when you're a child, it's heartbreaking. And I don't know what that like his childhood was like. I know what my dad's childhood was like, which is He's
Yeah.
the youngest of 6 in a blended family.
Mm.
Maybe,
And then he was out there like a superhero saving lives. I mean, that's gonna mess with your head, bro. Like that's yeah.
Also, this is during the AIDS crisis that he became a doctor.
He was basically
Whoa.
Jesus in some
In
sort
San
Yeah.
Francisco. He was an
Yeah.
intern in 1984,
Holy cow.
which is like we're full in to the AIDS crisis. Of course, that's gonna like do something.
Moly.
All right,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me just cut Armin. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
And we are all from various places. Toronto, LA, very important people.
Yes.
Not really. We're just having fun. And hello, Star.
Hi.
I'm a baby boomer. We just call narcissists. So, interestingly enough, is that there is a growing trend where it's like, where people are like, yeah, like baby boomers were kind of the first real jerks, and that like didn't help. They rested on their laurels before things, and it's like, I don't see my parents like that, but at the same time, I've met other friends of mine parents, and I'm like, oh yeah, you guys are dicks, and it's just kind of it's weird. But then like as I get older, I'm like, am I a dick? I don't think I'm a dick. I may be like, I check people on a regular basis. Like I've had people who like I see them bumping into people, and I'm like, oh, that's too bad. And then they try and bump into me, and I go, are you okay? And they're like, yeah. Well, you should watch where you're going. That's
It's like the
that's on
death
you.
of the writer thing, where like you can
See it, Star.
have that opinion of yourself all you want, but unfortunately, it's kind of people's perception of you,
Mhm.
which
First glance,
but-
murderer. It's right here. Look at this.
I'm
this is the
currently
face.
like in a spat with a teacher friend of mine, and it's totally my fault, and I feel awful,
Oh.
and I don't know if I'm going to be able to mend that bridge, but it's
What'd you do,
definitely
Elvis?
my fault, and I was thinking of myself, but
You should gaslight them. That typically works.
no, especially as a straight white male, that's like throw one more on the
Yeah,
pile.
you'd be so good at it.
She's
Right?
gaslighting me. Get me to do it.
What are you talking about? You're being crazy right now.
Dude, so many of my like, especially the
So mean.
boys will try and gaslight me,
Yeah.
where it's like, Mister, I totally wasn't on my phone. I'm like, okay, first off, nobody smiles at their crotch like that. A. B. I'm 6'1". I can see it from across the room. And C. Give me the stupid phone. Like it's yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
so hold on. What did you do to this person that you wronged them so drastically? Okay. If you
I
don't
wanna
want to
talk
that's
about
fine.
it on mic. The point is that like I let a secret slip before it was supposed to slip because I wanted help with this specific thing, and it's my fault. It is completely my fault.
Hey, you know what though? At the same time, get over it. Like, if somebody has a real problem, you let out a secret that I didn't want. Okay, cry. If you know how you keep a secret, Atlas, don't tell anyone. It's not on you. Don't worry about it. Calm down. Like,
no, it's kind of on me. I'll explain.
no, it's not. No, it's not.
I
Listen,
will
hey,
say it's nice to take responsibility in the sense of
sure.
like, I let it slip. I did that. That's on me.
Yeah.
But it's also like, you have to think about the entire, like, it's like, but,
maybe you should be more careful with who you tell your secrets to. There you go.
like, hey, don't tell me any more
Yeah.
secrets.
Don't tell me. I'll tell everyone. We had this conversation last night with Cole, where I'm like, if you want to share something, tell Cole. He'll tell everybody. Okay.
Yes.
For the simple point that he's like, ooh, gossip. Nobody hates gossip unless it's about themselves. Okay.
This is
Everyone else
why
is
I like
fucking-
talking about lesser known topics on Last Minute History with him, because he would just fucking tell everybody. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I missed that show, and I hope we get to do it again someday, or I could do it with somebody else. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
When was the last time you farted in the shower? Oh, that's
Constantly. Yeah.
that's the perfect time. If anything happens, I'm in the shower already. It's fantastic.
No one's gonna know. How will they
And-
know?
Thank
And
you,
if they
Nick.
do, that's a lot more questions.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
Balding
how would you know?
Vegeta Widow Peak-ass hunk, but a hunk. Thank you.
Hey, own it and you're fine. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong. Look, I'm support. I've been telling this joke, Nina, and people are getting enraged by it because they're like, this asshole, of course, right? So I go up on stage and I'm like, how was your guys' pandemic? I actually I lost my dad, and but I inherited an island. It's got a lot of great beachfront territory, year-round access, and you see everyone just going, "You piece of shit!" And I go, "I
Fucking
store it
asshole,
right
yeah.
here right here on my forehead. It's nice. It's very convenient. And everyone goes, you got us. And I'm like, yeah, I got you. Because I look like a prick that would inherit an island. I really do. Right.
really do.
So I know. And that's why I'm like, it was a really good stick it to it. Because I even sent it to a buddy of mine and he was like, bro, he goes, you got me so hard. I was like, this motherfucker now has got an island. Are you fucking kidding me? And I'm like, yeah, shenanigans. Yeah.
You don't have an island.
Just got to own it. You just got to own it. It's fair.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, thank you. I like it too. It's very entertaining.
It's hard to light your farts on fire in the shower. That's true. That is very
I
true.
don't think I've ever.
I feel like that's just a ratio. You need more fire, less shower. It's just right.
Figure it out.
You gotta
surprised.
water on the front, fire in the back, and it works out.
Yeah.
See,
I am surprised that on Avatar: The Last Airbender, no firebender ever tried to.
you know they learned that lesson real early though.
Yeah.
Everyone was a teenager goes, I'm a firebender. Hey, I wonder if everyone's like, hey, careful, just careful. And they're like, well, I just want to see, and then. Oh God! My nuts are on fire. Like that's what happens, right? Like, you have to be very careful.
Like farts are used in bending. We see it in Korra, where like the little bald kid, like airbends with his farts, which like that's the thing.
I forgot his
Milo, I think.
Yeah.
And look, but this is the best part. An airbender definitely can bend farts.
Yeah.
Firebender should really stay away from farts. You should be very,
very flammable.
very, succinct.
I would watch the hell out of like Jackass meets Avatar: The Last Airbender. All right, I'm Milo, and this is.
I mean, like, so apparently there's. I follow them on TikTok, and there's like new stuff that's coming out. Like one of them was a professional tennis player where everybody lined up, and Johnny Knoxville's like, they're like, how fast do you hit? She's like between 90 and 100 miles an hour, and he says he doesn't believe you, and then she proceeds to whack them with a ball from like 40 feet away and like just above the groin area, like where it's most tender and usually the least worked. And he was like, why? And you're like, she's like, well, I hope you believe me now. And then another one was a female professional bowler. And the guy was only wearing a jockstrap at the end of the lane. And you're like, that's not, you're not going to have kids after that one.
I met Johnny. At the restaurant that I work at in Hollywood. He was shockingly very nice, very chill, very normal. And I was like, I'm just standing there like, do something crazy. Right?
Yeah, you would expect him to grab his meal and just go rub it on his face and go, that was delicious. And you're like, that's what I was. Yeah.
No, shockingly normal. And I'm like, oh, this was a pleasant experience, which is not something I thought I'd say.
I mean, that's fair. If you lie a lot and worry about your pants catching on fire, be careful about gas foods. That is good advice. Listen, that's earned advice. He has learned that over years of experimentation.
Yes.
What's this?
We have had every generation, like living generation, on this show before, except for Gen Alpha, Silent Generation, and Gen Beta technically begins this year. But I don't think we want to interview a baby. So
I would happily interview a baby. Hi there, I am a famous whack. I don't know what that whack packer is, sir.
I think that might be a sex joke.
That there's that, and then like based on, because like Sirius with a capital S but spelled wrong makes me think it's the like voice text.
Listen,
but he spelled satellite wrong, which makes that even
satellite.
Listen, high pitch Eric. I do the sex all the time, sir. So don't kind of bring your little sex talk in here, trying to pull one over on me. I'm Greek and a pervert, so I'll take you out. We love having new guests. Hit us up. Let's go. It's what is it? Generation Dan Pod at Gmail.
Yeah, Generation Dan Pod at Gmail. I tried to email Ed Zitron, the guy from Better Offline, was like, "You want to come do the show?" And he's like, "I'm a millennial, LOL," which didn't even answer my question. But
it didn't.
Like,
it didn't.
Yeah.
Let's, like
okay, and
Howard Stern show. I wore a diaper. I feel like that's too much information, high pitch Eric, but we'll talk. Probably. Absolutely. Yeah. What's this channel about? It is about generational differences because I'm an old fuddy duddy. Nina is young and exploring the world, and Atlas is just trying to ruin children at their core from the beginning. It's perfect. It's perfect. He's an educator. That's fun.
Do you know his Greek and yogurt loving style only? I have no idea what he means by that.
If you don't know,
calling you not Greek.
yeah, well, he's trying.
That is
Well,
not the kind of person that that this show is.
I'll show you. I'll show you there, Joey. Don't worry. You'll get yours. That's fine. Joey, make sure you fill out your email to Elon Musk. All right, that's fine. We
Yay.
don't want you to lose your job.
It's
Suck
the
it.
movie.
I'm in Canada, baby. Nothing is happening up here. Wow, high pitch.
You guys are kind of doing the right thing with the like, all right, we're taking all the American products off the shelves. Fuck you. And I'm like, okay, we
Well,
deserve it. Yep. Cool.
Hey, I went to the liquor store the other day because we were going to a dinner, and like there were two
Yeah,
complete shelves just empty, like just bone dry. And I was like, "Oh, is that for all the U.S. stuff?" They're like, "Yeah, fuck them." I'm like, "Cool,
Good.
whatever." The funny
Yeah.
thing is, we still have like I brought Modelo. I'm like, it's Mexican beer, and I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, there's also like Japanese sake. I'm like, this is not. You guys don't understand how buy Canadian. Half of this stuff still isn't Canadian, so I don't know what you guys are doing.
I mean, whatever. It's the kind of thing where I'm like, I get it. Yeah, go for it. Like the only way to like stand up to a strong man is to stand up to a strong man. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck it. Go for the teeth.
Well,
I'm in. Like
the hilarious thing is that it's like now they're like, we're not
Oh, boy.
importing lumber. That means you won't have lumber, my friend, because we have all the lumber, all of it. It's
Exactly.
all of the lumber in the universe is just in Canada.
I was looking at the stuff that like was going to get more expensive coming into the US because I was like, oh no, what if I'm affected?
Sure.
It's like
We all
all car parts and like stuff for houses, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't matter to me.
Not a concern. We're fine.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
worried.
Joey says, you want to call me Greek? I'll show you Greek. Exactly. That's it.
Heck yeah.
Dicker, we literally just copy and paste the same thing as a division. It's literally me for an email. Exactly. That's how.
Good.
Hey, I had this conversation with Joey and with Atlas, and I'm like, you got to understand, because managers were like, don't fill it out. I'm like, those managers filled it out. I'm like, don't trust a manager. A manager is not on your side.
Mhm.
They are, at this point, managers are basically HR. They're there to protect themselves and the company they work for. They don't give a shit if you fall.
Yeah.
So,
If people who listen to this show are able to read, which you know, 50-50 shot on that, but
that's for the people on the show. Forget about watching the
Yeah.
show, right? I can't. read.
There's a book I highly recommend called Bullshit Jobs by David Graeber. And it's kind of what it sounds like. It's most of the jobs in modern day society don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Security guards, doormen, receptionists, middle managers, like they don't need to be there. And he like splits it into 4 categories and like how we could do this better. It's a really good book. I tried to get it for my school because they're like, we're all in on informational text nonfiction, which I hate. But like because stories are important, whatever. I can rant about this later. But I tried to get it for the school and they're like, we're not doing it with that title. I was like, damn it. So instead I got them to get Snow Crash, which is a dystopia novel. And that's what I'm teaching to my seniors. So
Yes.
Yeah, if you thought it was bad now, it's gonna get worse.
It can always
coming.
get worse.
No, this is what I wish people would understand, that you're like, listen, however bad you think you have it, you got to remember that peasants like that lived on someone else's fief, that were basically just servants, worked significantly less than what we work now.
yeah.
So trust me when I tell you this, not only can things get worse, they are currently horrible beyond any imagination that you have. It's just
Okay, just to push back on it a little bit, they also had to do things like mend their own clothes and like make most of the materials they have. So like yes, they worked less in the job field, but in the everyday, they had to do more shit.
Listen, sir.
I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying like
listen, just because you're focused on capitalism and supporting the economy, the rest of us would be happy to wear the same thing and not get judged for this kind of things. Okay? I will happily sew my clothes. You know what? I'll be honest
I will
with you.
put my money where my mouth is. I have okay, so
Don't
I
do
ripped
that.
my pants.
Money is not clean. Do not put it in
catastrophically.
your mouth. Just don't put money in your mouth. It is dirty.
Let me finish. I ripped my pants catastrophically at school the other day.
Nice.
Luckily, the art teacher had sewing kits, so I borrowed one and like shoddily,
Sure.
sewed my pants back up for the rest of the day. And then my teacher neighbor, the one next door to me, was like, "You should just bring a second pair of pants in case this happens again." And then I was like, "That's not a bad idea." Or you shit yourself. I don't know. I'm not you. Which
Also valuable. Yeah.
wonderful burn, but So I did, and then as I'm bringing the second pair in, I'm like, oh, this has chub rub, which I'm sure we're all familiar, where the thighs rub together, the fabric starts to degrade.
Yes.
So I borrowed the sewing kit again, and I sewed the chub rub. Like I fixed the chub rub with the sewing kit.
Mhm.
And I was like, this isn't that bad. I should just start doing this instead of throwing my jeans out when they get chub rub.
I'll give you one more hint, and this is a fat guy exclusive. So I'm running right now. Like, so Nina, you only saw me when I was only moderately, like an acceptable level of fat for the public.
Only moderately.
Yeah,
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 at
it was
least for
moderately
the-
fat. Yeah, I was. Oh, that guy's thick. He's a thick guy. Like that's you go. He's a big thick guy. Before I was a circle, and I'll tell you. So my pants have been. I have so many pairs of pants because like normally pants used to last 6 months, and then they would just basically like you call it chub rub, but I was creating fission in my thighs, and my pants would just explode into particles at some point.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I've had, but I'll tell you a secret is that, and they do this. So I used to be a real person and would wear suits on a daily basis, right? And everyone knows suits super expensive, pain in the ass. I'm more comfortable in a suit than I am in casual clothes because I look terrifying. It's because I got murder face and the suit, and people are like, "This is not. I am thoroughly ill-equipped to deal with this person," right? So, but what you can do is you get a piece of silk and tie it, and so you sew it into the seam between your thighs, and then it eliminates chub rub
Silk on the inside.
on the inside.
yeah.
Yeah, just as like a small liner because it's actually cooling, but you can do like the whole area if you sew it in there, and then it just never. So it's extremely good because there are patchy areas usually in the crotchal region, so you can follow the seams, and then it just kind of stays in place, and it's okay. But then as well, your pants last longer. It's hey, fat guys know how to do things sometimes. By needs, not want. So
I like how Cole says you can have Jack on his Gen Alpha. I think Jack is his son, right?
yeah, he's Gen Alpha. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Gen Alpha. He'll bore you to tears. I mean, if we're going by that, we might as well have my nephews on who are 7 and 9, who are also Gen Alpha. Or my half brother who's 12, and 12-year-olds are 12-year-olds.
I would love to challenge younger children on like really important topics and just see what they come out with because
They're
like
gonna say dumb stuff, and that's not fair to them.
yes, it is because the
We're
internet
not
lives forever. We are teaching them a lesson. Okay, they'll have to
No.
realize that this
No.
will last.
No, if we're doing that, it's a Patreon thing, which we should make a Patreon.
Absolutely.
And like is only available to people who pay for it because that's not fair to just interview the whole gen at once. Going to be a lot of cries of skippity toilet out from the wall of sound, I'm guessing.
Toilet. What does that even mean?
Did you know you could become an undercover hitman? Yeah, I don't know what skibbity toilet means. And I've heard only one person say it, and I immediately looked at them like, I'll break your face if you open your mouth one more time. And they're like, what? It's cool. I'm like, it's not.
No.
You're too old to say that. And
I
this
know
is
what
going to teach
Sigma
you.
means, which they're using it wrong. I know what Riz means, which actually the last time Nina was here, Tiz Riz was the name
Tiz
of the
Riz.
episode.
Which is
Yeah.
peak.
Yeah.
You know what you should do
Know what
is
that
when people say Sigma, you look at them with disgust and assume that they said smegma. And hey, it will
Yeah.
change the entire universe because then they're like, I'm like, ew. Like I'm a Sigma guy. You're like, oh, like dick cheese? Like, what's wrong with you? And then just watch them go, no, I meant like I'm important. You're like, this guy's like nasty. And just, hey, that's it. And then they will just crumble and you can watch them go, your stupid identity that you made up because of the internet has failed you. You are an idiot.
I'm
I'm
so
a fat guy and I know where every fast food restaurant is in the state of California. Jamie, like that's cool, but also you can kind of throw a stone in any direction and you'll hit one. It's California. McDonald's
I'll
was
be honest
started
with you.
here.
I'm still jealous of Shake Shack. That was a very enjoyable meal. And I love the custard. In and out. If it's not animal style, why would you bother? I did like their fries.
Which is funny because usually that's the weak point.
I know, but I was just like, yeah, obviously, anyone who's like, I don't like like animal style, you're like, you're a bad person. You should be nicer to your taste buds. It's that simple.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like it's very peculiar when I'm a fat guy until I die. There's no question. Like I'm pretending I'm cosplaying a thinner person, but it's not going well. So it's at the same time I'm like I like when someone's like, "Hey, there's a new burger joint," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna try a giant sandwich." Like that's always a thing. You know, it's just
There is a burger joint opening like literally 2 blocks away from me, and I'm like, no,
yeah, I know,
please,
right?
no.
I've
It's
actually started.
walkable. Fuck
Yeah, that's even worse because then you're like, I can really pack it in, and then I'm like, well, I'll have a leisurely stroll home. That fixes everything. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's because if anything, you walk faster because you start farting because of the crazy hamburger you just ate.
True.
I found out that one of the best hamburger places I've ever had a hamburger closed during the pandemic, and I was like, and it was $26. I went at lunchtime. There was no one in the restaurant, and I was like, okay. 2 people, we were shopping down the street, and 2 people were like, "Hey, are you going for lunch?" Like that, you should get a burger from that place. And I was like, 2 people randomly told me there was this burger, and I'm like, all right, I'm a fat guy. I need to find out what this burger is. And I had it. It was $26 during lunch hour. No one else was in the restaurant, which we all know you're not getting great service. Okay, it was one of the best burgers I've ever had in my life. And the guy came out. I was like, "Hey, how was it?" I'm like, "Did you do this?" He's like, yeah, because murder face and everything. And I was like, bro, that's one of the best. Like it was the perfect ratio of toppings, bun, and meat. Juiciness wasn't like when you bite in a burger and it just says it's like a waterfall. You're like, this is horrible. You're a horrible person, right? It was perfect. It was perfect, and I'm so angry about it. But anyway,
that's such a bummer.
it really is. Dino just advocated for bullying. I do advocate for bullying. It keeps everyone in line. Listen,
depends on the bullying, but yes, like
no. Listen,
bully the fuck out of him. Yeah,
I saw a video today of this guy going, "I'm gonna run for president." His eyes went 2 different ways, and he did not look like he was someone who education was his passion growing up. And I'm like, listen, you need friends to tell you, "Hey, dumbass, just stop talking. You need to we love you, but just in silence. It's fine." I think that's important for people to understand. It keeps them healthy. Skibidi Toilet is a show, but it's my son's shit. I get
show.
Gross. I love you. Well, Suresh, I'm married, but that's all right. You're allowed to love. Just don't expect anything back. Is this an anti-beta channel? I don't know what that means.
I mean, Gen Beta just got started. We can't get
I'm not
give them a chance to view them.
I almost said I'm not anti-baby, but according to my special,
I might be actually. That's a great segue, Nina. You are recording a special. What was it again? Tangerine Vagina.
Yes, it is called Tangerine Vagina. So sorry for getting you guys unmonetized.
No, that's fine.
We're at the end of the show. After the first 30 seconds, you're good.
Okay, solid. The kids. Yes, it's called Tangerine Vagina. It is my hour special, and it premieres at the Whitefire Theater in Sherman Oaks, California, Los Angeles specifically, on May 2nd at, I want to say, 8 o'clock, but let me just make extra sure.
Okay. And May 2nd is a Friday night for people who are wondering what day of the week that is.
Yes, it is 8 o'clock. I only had to check because we moved it, and I wanted to make sure we didn't change the time because it was supposed to be in January. Everything caught on fire. I'm not sure if you heard. But yeah, so I'm doing a special, and it's based off of a few stories in my book, and it kind of follows my life as like a terrible child growing into a terrible adult.
Which, I mean, that's not what this show is about. What is it like?
You just have to say it's a life of consistency and how I managed it. Like I am.
For people who are interested, they can look in the description where they will be able to follow Nina Dicker and get tickets for this thing. And if you're watching after May 2nd, I assume it's going to be available somewhere for people to watch.
Yes, I'm hoping to put it up potentially for free on YouTube. I would really like to do that, but we'll see. I'm not sure when it'll go up because I'm not sure how long the editing process shall take, but I'm hoping it only takes about 3 weeks. But
okay,
don't quote me on that.
We should just have you back after the special's done, and you can talk about it some more.
Yeah. And we can show clips and such. That'd be so rad.
Oh yeah.
Zhang Wei says, "I am not fat guy." Listen.
That means you're a fat guy.
I can't prove anything there. And here, do you like Boss Baby? I'll be honest with you. Every employer and manager I've ever had, I look at like a baby because they're always this big, and I'm just like, who gave you a job? You should be in a crib somewhere. And they're like, I'm not a baby. I'm like, are you sure? You can't even grow facial hair. It's odd, right? Yeah.
Okay. Nina, where can people find and follow you and all that stuff?
Oh, they can find me on Instagram and TikTok. Those are the ones I predominantly use. They can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, The Street, as so many men already do. Happy Women's Month. Thank you, Jim. Tangerine Vagina is also a book that I published. It has a longer title. It's on Amazon. You can actually just Google Tangerine Vagina. It is the only thing that pops up. So.
I gotta make sure people can see this because that's called Tangerine Vagina. There we go.
Yes. It's the first one.
Number one right there. Yeah. I even spelled tangerine. I spelled tamgerine and it still came up. So
Amen.
You found it.
Actually, does the Whitefire ticket link pop up? Because I got to do this thing for the first time where I got to make my own tiered ticket pricing system. And so I was wondering if you wanted to like read the tiers out for people.
Let me see here.
If one of them is called Smegma, I'm going to be pissed.
No.
I mean, it works. I don't see. No.
If you type in Tangerine Vagina Whitefire Theater, it might pop up.
Let's see.
Whitefire Theater. Whitefire Theater. That just sounds like a problem, but okay. Okay, hold on.
Let's see.
There's it shows it May 2nd. It does not. Hold on, it does not let me click anything though.
Let's see. Click buy tickets. We have tier 1 top tier Tangerine, tier 2 VIP Vag, tier 3 Head. That's funny. And then it's like regular price $25, $30, $40, and then tier 3 Head is just $1 million.
Yeah, but you have to read the part that's underneath it.
You give me it.
I like it.
VIP Vag. Sorry, what?
I tried to make it $1 billion, but it wouldn't allow it. But it did let me make it $1 million. So
I mean,
that's
maybe
totally reasonable.
Like if you become a millionaire because of this show, like it's pretty dope.
I will say it's technically 1.1 million. There is $100,000 in ticket fees.
Yeah. There's also it's 100,000 and 50 cents. Let's at least give them accurate information.
All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's. I mean, realistically, I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
You know, you give me it. Yeah, that's fair.
$1 million.
Yeah. She's practicing to be an executive in Hollywood. It's
VIP Vag. You get everything in top tier Tangerine plus a Tangerine Vagina tote bag and a gentle forehead smooch.
Mm-hmm.
Top tier Tangerine for just $5 more. You get a signed copy of the book, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, the forehead smooch is kind of nice. That's cute.
Thank you.
After 3 kisses, I feel like you should just give them a lick, just right on their forehead, and just
side of the face.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like you might sell more tickets that way. Just
honestly, you might be right. I'll try it. I'll make another tier. I'll do it.
Optional face lick or gentle kiss on the forehead, or
you.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair.
Well, folks, you can follow us at Generation Dan wherever fine social medias are found. That does not mean Twitter. Twitter is dumb. You can also follow me at Atlas Novak in all those same places: Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. I mostly just do sketches about being a teacher, among other things, and being
musicals.
Musicals. I know a lot of shit about musicals.
Yes.
Let's see. You can also follow my other show, Nexus at Night, which is about the trading card game Cardfight Vanguard. If that's not your bag, understandable, and fuck you. Dino, how about you?
Dino the Jedi Marvel. I am honestly focused on. I'm trying to figure out because I am all over the place with my stuff. We do cooking. I do Lego. We talk about generations. We talk about all sorts of madness throughout the week, and also how to be a better person. So it was mostly just wellness stuff on how not to be a complete piece of shit. Like a moderately acceptable piece of shit is what I'm going for, and I'm succeeding. So that's what we do at my channel, which, hey, you can just, if you're not going to Google me, like seriously, we literally took 5 minutes to Google Nina. It's only reasonable. And that might get you a soft peck on the head. Like it's a very beneficial, but yeah, that's my stuff. We're gonna be back tomorrow with motherfucking Monday, and Life of Giants is also Monday night, and then we have all sorts of stuff. But yeah, that's about it. So
All right.
have an enjoyable rest of your Sunday. You guys stick around afterward. I just need to ask you guys a quick question before we go any further. Twitter
Okay.
is no longer an idiot. There you go. All right.
No.
Have a
All
good one, everyone. See ya.